Welcome to my wife, Paulette, here today. My cousins are over there somewhere. I see them, I think. Um, so like 10 years ago, a group of 6 of us met in a small room downstairs at the library, just talking amongst ourselves and yakking. And so pretty soon we ended up at the Legion, and it went from 6 people to 12 to 20 to, the biggest crowd's been 120 or 130, I think, and today might approach that. I wouldn't be surprised. We had no idea it would grow like it did. In fact, Shelby, after our first couple of meetings, Shelby Kaiser came to me and said, you might want to have an itinerary and speakers. And I said, why would we want to do that? She says, well, I think it would work better. So anyway, give Shelby all the credit. We started bugging people to come and speak for us, and there's a lot of them out there, a lot of able people that are willing to do this. Many thanks to the American Legion for allowing us to host these presentations for the last 10 years or so. They afford us the absolute perfect venue for what we do. And thanks so much to the wait staff. Be generous with them. They're working hard today, I guarantee you. I'd also like to thank Cats TV for recording our programs for at least the last 7 years. This is really important service for us. This allows us to upload each program to YouTube for people who can't make it to these live programs. And in addition, it allows us these great history lectures to be put on display for all those who follow us. There are, in fact, several local history-related organizations in town, and we all try to work together and support each other. Besides the History Club, there's the Monroe County History Center, which I've been a board member for a couple of years, the Monroe County Public Library, IU Photo Archives, Cats TV, the Wiley House Museum, and probably others. Also, our local loyal history enthusiasts who attend these programs and watch them on YouTube. We thank them a lot. The programs we present here are so diverse, and we thought we'd run out of subjects, we were going month to month, really. But when you think about what we've presented, we've had presentations on the stone mills, quarries, RCA, Showers Brothers, local post offices, history of Hoosier hysteria, old photos from the HT, barns, city parks, the Monon Railroad, West Baden even, much more. So how many new attendees today? I think we got a few. A couple of them left me their email addresses for us to put on our direct mailing list. If there are any more, just give them to me when you get a chance, and I'll see that it gets on our regular mailing list. Not everybody's on social media. Okay. At this time, Daniel Schlegel, the director of the Monroe County History Center, has a few words.
Can we get a quick round of applause for Michael and all the work he does? He's always so excited about this, and he's such a great ambassador for this, and he's been great partnering with the History Center, both as a board member and because he loves history. So we really appreciate you letting us come out and partner. We just have a couple quick updates for the History Center. On this Saturday, April 1st at 2 p.m., we have Charlotte Zitlow coming out to talk about her new book. So if you want to come out to the History Center, it's a free event on this Saturday at 2 o'clock. We also have a new Breaking Away display upstairs on our 2nd floor. So anyone that's been up there, and if you've seen the large aerial map that we have, we've even denoted some of the locations on there to kind of put them all in context. And then on April 15th, the Showers quilt display comes down. So if you enjoy quilts or want to learn more about the Showers Brothers Furniture Factory, make sure to come in and see this exhibit. And then we'll have a large newspaper exhibit going up in July, so make sure to keep tuned in for that one. We have a lot of great stuff that's being put together behind the scenes for it. And then just so everyone knows, we have our annual garage sale coming up in June. The ladies that work that event are accepting donations on Wednesdays from 10 until 2. So if you're doing some spring cleaning on a nice day like today, feel free to go out there on Wednesdays between 10 and 2, and they'll accept your donations. And then I brought a whole slew of all kinds of different books over here to my left side on the far side of the room, so make sure to swing by and see what we have over there. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, we had some technical glitches besides this a while ago that we got ironed out. So everybody hold their breath. Don't sneeze or anything to jolt that table so that everything keeps working nicely. Some coming attractions. Our next one, April 25th, John Baton has a program called What Would It Be Like to Walk Through the Streets of Bloomington More Than 100 Years Ago? The Rediscovering Bloomington project seeks to answer these questions and more. May 30th, Susan Snyder-Salmon will give a program on the history of dry stacked stone walls in Monroe County. These walls are all over the county, and we've all seen them. They're very old. So she's going to tell us something about that. June 27th, James Capshew, who's the historian of Indiana University, will give a program on the life and times of Herman B. Wells of IU. July 25th, Cats TV. Dave's back there, our cameraman every time, and they do such a great job. They're going to give a program on their history. They've been around over 45 years serving the community. August 29th, Christine Friesel of Monroe County Public Library will give a program called Monroe County Gilded, Mapping the Gilded Age of Monroe County, 1877 to 1899. That sounds like a big project, so I'm looking forward to that. September 26th, Dr. Clay Stuckey, good friend, he's been working on this really hard. He's going to give a program called The Brief History of Bloomington High School Campus. So it's the campus of the old Bloomington High School, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have a crowd even bigger than this for that. It coincides with the mini reunion of the class of '64, so we're all fired up already about that. October 31st, Rod Spa is going to give a program on the local Feltus family and their family newspaper. Which brings us to today. Hilary Fleck is the curator at the History Center. They recently received the Herald-Times archive collection and begun processing the photographs to make them accessible to the public. A group of us did this for a little while. About 10 years ago, we went through a few years of negatives from the HT, and then we stopped it. But then with the situations HT, they wanted to make sure these slides and their photographs were kept. And so they gave the whole collection to the History Center, which I think is just great. That's a place where it ought to be, in a museum. And so she'll be sharing some of the photographs from the collection. And, you know, like most of us know that have tried to do this, they don't come identified a lot of times. No captions on the negatives or anything. So she'll be asking the audience to help a little bit with identifying some of the people, places, and things you'll see on these photos. So, Hilary?
Thank you very much. So yes, like Michael said, the collection came to the History Center last year, and so we have been working very diligently to process the collection as quickly as we can. Okay, so brief overview. The Herald-Times archive collection consists of 3 different types of objects. The first is vertical file material, which a lot of it has come to our research library with our research librarian, Megan McDonald. And that's just a lot of newspaper clippings or other copies of photographs, not actual photographs, and other just general information materials that we can add to our research library that we felt was better served in the library than in the museum collection proper. Then we also have developed photographs. So the majority, I wouldn't say the majority of the collection, but there's a significant portion of the collection is developed photographs. So these were developed by the photographers and used as part of the process of creating the newspaper. And so some of these photos that we have were used in the paper and did appear in the paper, but there's also some that were not actually didn't make it into the daily paper. So some of them are, they have unused written on them. So they don't actually appear in a paper that we can reference a date for. So some of them are a bit of a mystery. And then we have negative photographs. So the negatives are the bulk of the collection. They are thousands upon thousands of photographs. So the negatives date back to the 1950s, probably the mid to late 50s, and go through to the early 2000s. From what I understand, the Herald-Times building was built in the early 60s, and so I think when they moved into the new Herald-Times building, they maybe didn't take all of the material, or didn't feel the need to take all of the negative material from previous decades. So it really kind of starts in the mid 50s. Then in the 2000s, that's when cameras were switched to digital. So there is no need for negatives after that. So the range that we're working with the negative photos is the 1950s through to the early 2000s. The developed photos tend to be from the 1970s through to the early 2000s. So right now we've started processing the developed photographs first, and then we are going to move on to the negative photos. So our processing plan. So with the generous donation of Dr. John Teal, who's here with us today, he has sponsored an intern who is Cachet, who is also here today. And Cachet is currently working, her internship, sponsored by Dr. Teal, is to process these photos. And so that's what she does day in and day out. God bless her. And she's currently processed over the project, not just her, but the project has processed 2,675 photographs so far. And there's still about, I would say, close to 1,000 photographs yet to go. So it's going to take us a while. And so we ask everybody to be patient, but we are trying to go as fast as we possibly can. And then this is Megan, our research librarian here, holding a file that says cults. And that's the only, so the vertical file material was very interesting when we went through it. Some of it pertained to Monroe County. Some of it was very general, like cults. And so going through the material, we're like, okay, that's not a cult in Monroe County. That's not a cult in Monroe County. Oh, that could be. Okay, that deserves further research, that sort of thing. So we did cull a lot of that collection, and so a lot of that has gone into our vertical files, so you can research that material. That worked. Okay, so this is this is half of the negatives, and then there's like a whole nother shelf on the other side. So this is what the negatives look like, and there's thousands upon thousands of them. So we have moved the negatives, because the HT has sold the building, we have moved the negatives to an off-site storage location while we are working through processing them. This is going to take probably years worth of time, but we're doing our absolute best to get them as processed as quickly as possible. The priority for the negatives is going to be those that which have what's called a vinegar syndrome. And so that is when certain types of film start to deteriorate, they put off a smell that smells like vinegar. And so we can test for that, and we can put those photographs at the front of the line to be processed quickly, because they are starting to deteriorate more quickly, and the vinegar smell, the odor, can cause other photographs around it to also deteriorate. So we're trying to isolate those, prioritize scanning them, and then we're probably going to have to destroy them, because they are currently they're decomposing themselves. They're not going, you can't fix vinegar syndrome. So we're going to digitize the collection, the negative collection. It's just going to take time, and then we're prioritizing those that are currently deteriorating. Accessibility. Okay, so how do you get to look at it? So you can come in and look at it and look at photographs from our collection just the same way you can look at any of the other items in our collection. You can make an appointment, or you can request them through our website. The collection is, because of our agreement with Gannett, the parent company of the Herald-Times, the HT staff has priority access to all of the photographs in case they need them for a story or some project that they are working on. So all of the materials are provided to the HT staff upon request at no charge. And that's part of our agreement with Gannett. But to the rest of the public, the collection is currently available to a degree on our website. So we have those 2,675 photos that we have already processed. Probably about 2,500 are available on our website right now. So you can go, oh, I should just go to the next slide. Oh, this is a fun photo of Scott May cutting down the basketball net after the 1975-76 perfect season victory. Okay, so where can I find this on our website? So this is a quick tutorial. You can go to our here, let me go, yeah. So this is our website, and then you can go to like explore the collection. It's one of the options up at the top. To explore the collection, then you can go to this like online collection database, and then you like search photos, and so a series of photos are going to come up, and the accession number, which is our kind of catalog number for this collection, is 2021.047. So if you see that number, you know that that's a Herald-Times photograph. That's how we know that it is a Herald-Times photograph. If our online database is kind of clunky, so you can't like type in Herald-Times and this photo will show up. It's not going to work that way. But you can search through the collection and see all of the photos. Or search for something like the Princess Theater, and you'll find photos from this collection and that sort of thing. Okay, so interesting images from the collection. So first, the presentation is going to go through some photographs that we have cataloged that do have some sort of caption, some sort of contextual information, and then we're going to get to a bunch of photos that don't have any information, and then that's the pop quiz portion of our day, is that who is this person? So this is one of the contact sheets that we have. We have several contact sheets as part of this collection, and it's basically this is what negatives look like, and then they would photographers would circle in red pencil which photos they wanted developed. So you would get these, we get a lot of these with like sports games, and we'll see contact sheets and they'll be like, oh, that's a good one right there. So we get a lot from this. So this is in 1986, there was like an open house tour kind of initiative at the Herald Telephone. And so this is like employees doing their job. Which is really great because it's definitely something we're going to be using in our upcoming newspapers exhibit, which I encourage you all to attend. But it's snapshots of staff members working at the HT. This is jail. Okay, so this is fun. So this is what we get, is we get like a photographer signature there, and then we get a little bit of a caption. Some people are more eloquent with their captions than others. So you'll see where we get this. But this one says, Jail Deputy Brad Swain describes the safety features of the new jail cells to some of the people who toured the new facility in 1986. So photo by John Terhune. This is old J.C. Penney building renovation, 1987, by Larry Krewell. So these are just fun photos. So you get a lot of these fun photos of the collection. PCB cleanup workers, date unknown. So we don't have, I mean, we have an idea of when the date is, but this specific date for this photograph, we don't have a date for that. It wasn't written on the photograph. So this is where we plan to have volunteers and researchers use the collection and be like, okay, PCB happened around in Bloomington in the 80s. Okay, so let's narrow down a window. And then let's see if we can narrow it down further. Can we narrow it down further? And then can we look in the newspaper, did this photo appear in the newspaper, on what date, what article went with it? So there's going to be years and years and years of research to go with this collection, but the more that we can have more data that we can have, the better and the easier this will be. Unknown woman working at the RCA Thompson Consumer Electric Assembly Line in 1990. Does anyone know who this woman is? Okay. Wells Library remodel in 1995. So you can see all the desks and shelves with no books on them. And there's awful concrete floor going on right now before the carpet goes down, I guess. Okay, so as far as we can tell here, this is IU homecoming, but we can't tell anything else. So I don't know who these women are. They look like they're either cheerleaders or red steppers.
They're red steppers.
Red steppers, okay. We don't know who they are because they are not identified, but they are sitting on top of a fire department pickup truck. And we also don't know what year this is, just that it's homecoming. So if anybody knows any of them. Can we narrow down a year? Year of the truck, look at the truck. Okay. I'm sorry? White fire trucks? I don't think it's a fire engine. I think it's just a truck the department owned. Yeah. Ray Spires? That guy right there? Okay. Okay, I'll write it down. Maybe Ray Spires. Okay, next one should be pretty identifiable. This is Coach Bob Knight holding the NCAA trophy at the Assembly Hall in 1981 to a packed house. Absolutely packed. Yay! So we've got some great photos like this. Landon Turner. So we do have quite a few photos from this series. Apparently the HT had done a profile on Landon Turner, and so we have photographs of the car accident and photographs of him during his rehabilitation, which is what this is, in 1981. And then we have a photograph of him coming back to Assembly Hall. I think it was at this event, maybe, but he returns to Assembly Hall and everybody's cheering for him, but he's not as a player. Should also be pretty identifiable. This is Coach Bob Knight kissing his wife Karen before addressing the crowd at Dunn Meadow on September 13th, 2000, on the day that he was fired. Jake's Restaurant, 1991. Jake's Nightclub. Thank you, Janice. Okay. PK's Green Eggs and Ham at 1988 Hoosier Fest by Larry Cruel. And it's fun to every now and then see a little comment from the photographer. Like here we have big crowd. So every now and then you get like a little piece of them too. Here's judges Susie Owens, Joe Bourne, and Steve Schultz eating ribs at Kirkfest. The date is not indicated on this, so does anybody know when this could possibly be? Eating ribs at Kirkfest. Susie Owens, Joe Bourne, and Steve Schultz were judges.
Susie Owens is out at Meadowwood, I'm pretty sure.
Meadowwood now?
Sure, yeah.
I think her last name is just Owen.
Owen?
Yeah, it's just Owen, she's right. But she's not on Jordan Avenue anymore where she and Ken used to live.
Okay. Next, Max Headroom Lookalike Contest at the College Mall. And this contestant is Robert Griffith. He was 17. And the photo is taken by John Terhune. This is not the only photograph we have of this lookalike contest. So I can only imagine how it seemed like a packed house. I mean, there's all these people over here, and they had stations throughout the mall where you could watch it on TV. It was like a closed caption kind of thing here. So we had that Eagle presentation not too long ago that was really fascinating. So we also have photographs of that, of the Eagle Reintroduction Program at Lake Monroe. So this is one of the nesting boxes. I'm going to guess from that presentation this is one of the early nesting boxes, since there's only 2 of them, when I know that they were saying there was a lot more. This Greenpeace activists and the PCB banner on October 23rd, 1987. And so it says, "Go Bloomington, muzzle the Westinghouse incinerator," from Greenpeace. So the photographer actually had, I guess, talked to them, because we do have their names, and the fact that they were both from Chicago. They were not local. The Princess Theater demolition in 1985. We have a couple of photographs from this demolition. Yeah, the back part of the theater, not the front facade. That's still there. This is the back part of the theater. This is Charlie Brown cooking ribs for Bruce's Cafe table at the Taste of Bloomington in 1987. And he was also the first African-American police officer, state trooper, police officer. So yeah, he's cooking ribs for Bruce's Cafe. Kelly Simmons and Dale Bowers sliding down the Zoom Flume by Phil Whitlow. So yeah, the Zoom Flume was a thing. Yeah, still the remnants are still there, but fortunately can't slide down anymore. A Bloomington Transit bus. We don't have a year for this. There's no year, but I think somebody had looked up the bus, and it's like a Mercedes-Benz bus or something like that. So we can kind of start to track it that way. Then we get some really amazing, like, human interest photographs like this one of just kids playing at the park. And so this is called the Whiz Kids, and then it gives all of their names and ages, and they're playing at Bryan Park. So this is just fun photos like this. Unique flower and gift shop, and then also the gift shops on this side, and then the public libraries on this side in Ellettsville. The year for this, there's no year on this photograph, so I don't know if anybody knows a year range that could be for this, but there was no date on the photo. Frank Connard, Lloyd McConnell, and Tony Scherschel loading wheat into a hopper. So this is like another one of those human interest kind of pieces that the newspaper would run, but we get some really amazing photographs of members of the community. Customers and employees hang out at Johnny Rockets. So this is fun to see the inside of a restaurant at the time. So this is Johnny Rockets. This also doesn't have a date, though. The Monroe County Courthouse renovation. So this one said it was room 300. The ceiling revealed a second dome. So apparently they did not know that that dome was there until they ripped down the ceiling. Reveal of the, what does it say? Room, yeah. Yeah, so this was photographed by John Terhune, but yeah, the dome was revealed. We've got a couple of other photographs from the courthouse. I got one more in the presentation, I think. I think it is too. Yeah, the Nat Hill meeting room. Edgewood High School football team at the Fall Festival Parade. This is also one that we don't know the year of. So sometimes they have the dates, and they'll have like the date the photo, either the date the photo was taken or the date the photo appeared in the paper, which could be 2 different dates. But this one doesn't have a date at all. So that one will require more research. Bill Cook doing, it says, Bill Cook doing some hot laps in the Pace bus at Hoosier Fest. So this was fun. I thought this was really fun to include. This is the old Illinois Central Depot before restoration. So we've got quite a few photos of before and after photos of community projects and things like that. Charlotte Zitlow exposing the old balustrades during the renovation of the courthouse. So this was fun. And then it says, wait, hold on. Forget what the thing says. Hush, hush, Charlotte, is what the caption is. Carl and Mac from Classic Bowl. We do not know their last names. Just says Carl and Mac. And we're like, okay. Does anybody recognize Carl or Mac? Yeah? Turpin. Enright?
Enright.
Not Enright. Before Enright was wasn't Harris, was it? Harris, was it Harris? No. Okay, you think of it, but we think Carl Turpinning, though. Okay. The tall one. Okay. Well, thank you. We also have a lot of Monroe County, Miss Monroe County contestants. We found out pretty quickly that all of the contestants get their headshots in the paper because we have so many of them from every year. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to look through the fashion and the hairstyles of that day. We get some really, really poofy hairdos. But this is Miss Tina Grubb and Miss Amick. Do we know what Miss Amick's first name is? She doesn't have a first name. It's all right, we'll figure it out. It's from 1991. We've got a fair book. Oh yeah, okay. Another Bloomington Transit bus, but this one's later. This one's 1981. So we can kind of track, like there's quite a few Bloomington Transit photos, which is great because we didn't have very many at all in our collection. So now it's really awesome that we've got these, we can track these Bloomington Transit changes. Quite a lot of buses. The Greenery Restaurant and Seafood Emporium in Bloomington. And that's it, that's all we have. So maybe they're opening, maybe they're closing, I'm not really sure. Don't have an address or a year for it, but that's why we have a research library, so we'll figure that out. But yeah. A crane removing the marquee from the Princess Theater in 1983. Sad day. But yeah. Oh, but it has the sporting, also we get a nice picture of the sporting goods store there. Used in university sporting goods, yeah. So we get some really funny ones too that were just like, why? What happened here? This is Sandra Miller dressed up as a clown going down the water slide at Bryan Park Pool in 1985 when I guess the pool was remodeled or opened or something. But she's the first person to go down the water park slide. Clown. Construction of the Monroe County Library, or Public Library, July 1970. So we can kind of see the inside. Fun little highlight there. Mainly the HVAC system, but now we know. Okay, now it's the pop quiz question, everybody. So everybody look alive. Here we go. So we have quite a bit of sports photos, local high school sports and university sports, but they don't have any information on them. There's no photographer, there's no date, there's no captions, we don't know what's going on or who this is. It's a great shot, but who is it? Bloomington. The team is Bloomington. It looks sometime it looks like, I can't tell if that's blue or purple. South. Okay, so it's south.
Well, probably before South of this.
Sometime in the mid-90s.
Mid-90s. Mid-90s for South. Okay. All right, next. Mustangs. Yeah, it's Edgewood, but who are the people? Do we know the people? Recognize any of them? Okay, we'll try another one. It's a meet happening at Bloomington North. This looks like a South runner. North, I was thinking him right there though. North, sorry. Sorry. I think in mid-90s again.
Mid to late 90s.
Okay. Yeah, there are 3 different teams. Sectionals. Okay. Yeah, one of them says Eagles. That's the Brown County Eagles. The other one says Scottsburg. Okay. At IU. Okay. Mhm. They only had the stupid helmets for a little while. So, okay, how little was that? Because that's a good clue.
But that's not one of the helmets that you're thinking of. There's an IU helmet called the Flying IU design. It's kind of a cockeyed IU trident. It has like 2 arms trailing off of it. You'll know it when you see it. It was only used in 1983 when what's his name was here? Sam Weiss, thank you.
But I don't think they use these eye ones for very long.
Okay. Okay, we'll look. Yeah.
I'm Brad from
Yeah.
Archives. Send me that one. I'll figure it out for you.
Okay. Okay. Basketball.
Todd Lindemann.
Todd Lindemann. Yay! Got one. Here's another sports one.
Send me that one too.
Okay. I can't tell who they're playing. Ohio State. Okay, now we're gonna get off of sports. So maybe this will be easier. When they had AstroTurf. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, which one is Jerry? Jerry Bales, you said? Okay, state rep. And Cruzan? Maybe at the State House?
Before he was mayor.
Okay. Okay. Next. What's going on here? Nobody recognizes this gentleman? Darn. Yeah.
His first name is David, and he lives over near Ellisville and used to have a tree farm.
Okay, so Sherry, you said his first name is David, and he used to have a tree farm in Ellisville.
Like a Christmas tree.
Jenner? David Jenner? Okay, I'm gonna write that down. And then so that's in Ellisville, you think?
I think that's in the journal.
The Journal?
Because it looks like Morris Enright.
I was thinking that same thing, Sherry. I was like, I bet that's Morris. Right there. Okay, thank you for saying that. Okay, yay, moving on. Who is this?
Mike Nichols,
Mike Nichols.
Nashville.
Nashville. Okay. And that's his flower shop, I guess. Michael's Flowers. Okay. Moving on. Action shot. Did not recognize the building. So it's possible this is not here. But the signs, we've got some angry people. Somebody needs a backbone. Answers only. No more force, I think. Can't read his sign. This one says review Rick and Road. Don't know what that means. We the people expect to be heard. Can't read that one either. So, but nobody recognizes this protest. I didn't recognize the building, and it doesn't look like it's not our courthouse, so it's possible that this is not Monroe County. But couldn't figure this one out. Who's this?
Karen Young.
Karen Young, okay.
Out of Unionville.
All right, yay. Getting somewhere now.
Yes.
What's this? Anybody recognize him?
Sprint car probably down at the Bloomington Speedway.
Yeah. But anyone recognizes like the number or the man? Possibly maybe the driver? Thank you, David. I heard that. Okay. Okay, limestone carver. Anyone recognize the carver? Guess I'm getting a lot of stumpers here. Okay. All right. Next. Glenda Murray. Get over here. Is this you? So this is Uptown Cafe, because you can read, there's a sign right there that says Uptown Cafe. Glenda, is this you right here? Right there. Right there.
On the left in the red, I think.
Done what?
L-A, and then capital B-A-R-R. I'll have to think about the others.
Okay, I'll send it to you. Another no caption photo, but I was just like, oh, that's Glenda. Okay.
Looks like Kevin Cade with the tie back there.
Right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin Cade.
The one with the red looks like Tom Swafford. That's Doug.
Doug. You said Kevin, what's his last name? Kevin
Cade, C-A-D-E.
C-A-D-E. Okay. Glenda, can you date this based on you? Okay. Okay. Okay, what's going on here? Looks like some sort of, like maybe it's the Bean Blossom Bluegrass Festival. But anybody recognize the band?
Probably just a jam in the campground.
I am just stumping you guys left and right. Okay. Putt-putt golf. What's this putt-putt place? It was the what?
No, it's not a putt-putt.
Is that it though? It's the with the hilly 100 backdrop?
It's not a putt-putt course, so it's another miniature golf.
It's a miniature golf.
Yeah, it's not putt-putt, so putt-putts would be orange all over the place. Yeah, they're,
By the that side, the east side McDonald's.
no. This would be the
North
bypass
Walnut,
of
that one. Okay. Okay. Pygmy putt? Maybe. I'll put that one down. Maybe. Okay. What happened here? It looks like a tornado to me, but there's no date, there's no caption, so it's a mess, though. There's no identifiable feature, like landmarks either. It's just a mess.
Yeah, it's a construction site.
No, that looks like a tornado hit it or something.
Is that a bridge in the background?
No. Well, I'm just not going to listen to David, though. Make it up. Don't do that. Okay. What's this? Candy shop in Martinsville? Candy kitchen?
Candy kitchen, yeah.
Okay.
You know a little bit about that.
Okay. Does anyone know who the lady is? No. Yeah. Okay. What's this? They look like they're counting something. This guy? Norman Shields.
It may be the union, RC union,
For ratification of it.
Okay, so maybe RCA union vote. Okay, does anyone recognize anyone else? '90s. Okay, so just sometime in the '90s. Right, right. Okay. What's going on here? Leslie Worth. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is Italian. What's the restaurant though? You said Leslie's Italian Villa. Leslie's. Did she have was she married? Did she have a husband who worked? Okay, because there's another photo of these gigantic pots and there's a gentleman stirring them. So that's Frank. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yay. Next. Anyone recognize these? This is kind of a dark photo in this light, but anyone, or the interior, because it is a restaurant. Does anyone recognize?
Layman's, perhaps?
Good guess. Gibbon Denzels? No. Okay. All right, we're going to move on. This one.
Dave McCray.
I feel like I should recognize him. Okay, who are the other two?
Maybe something to do with the PCB problem that we had.
Okay, he was involved.
Yeah, he was a big wheel in that.
Okay. Does anyone recognize this woman? Beth Mayberry. Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, she shot and killed a guy.
That is the one I was thinking of, the artist, yeah. She shot her boyfriend or something, didn't she?
Yep.
The minister, yeah. Got it. Yeah, we looked that up. Okay, we got that one. Okay, this one is a staff favorite. We need to identify this, okay? Because the next one is a staff favorite. Okay. So this horse is watching Golden Girls. Who knows what's going on? Is this a rehabilitation? Like, what's happening? We don't have a date on this. We don't have a location. But clearly, there's a horse in a house. But what's going on? Anyone recognize this woman? They looked like staff photos. They did.
Can you read any of what's above the TV?
No. Town and Country Veterinary. All right, we'll look into it. Where was that at? Ellettsville. Okay. Well, that's just a staff favorite photo, though, of the horse watching Golden Girls. We tried to figure out what episode it was, but we can't. Yeah. No, we can't read it. The resolution's not high enough. No. Mm-mm. Okay, so this is the courthouse and a flagpole. Something's happening with the flagpole. Is it going in? Is it coming down? They put the new one up. So this is a old one coming down, new one going up. Do you know when that happened? Early 90s. Okay. Early 2000s, you mean? Okay. Was he now? He was hit with the pole?
It looked like the three that have been, it looks like there's a person laying down on the side. That's an officer. The dude with the sunglasses on next to the guy with the hat. He looks
Yeah.
like an officer, because you kind of see his badge.
Yeah, he's an officer. But that doesn't look like a person to me. That looks like a person to you? Right here? Like maybe going this way?
I don't know.
Okay, but we'll look into it because there was a person knocked out. That made the news. Okay. MoCo Veterans Service Officer hit by pole. Okay. Okay, we'll look into that. We've only got a couple more, guys, so let's hit this out of the park. What's happening here? That sheriff. But like, who are these people? What's this room? What's going on? I can't tell if they're students or what. Yeah, the officer is clearly telling everybody to calm down. So somebody's riled up about something. The sweatshirt in the back, I think when I looked at the photo it said Indiana, but I can't remember now. Harvard, actually, it says Harvard. Well, that's an interesting photo. Okay, guys, one left. What's this? Howard's? Howard, Canada, and his bookstore. Is it opening or is it closing? Yeah, given his age, I would guess it's closing, but you never want to restrict people like that. When did it close? When did Howard's bookstore close? So this is so Phil, you think this is maybe relocation? Okay, so I'll put that. Okay, so I'll put maybe a relocation. Yeah. Okay, so this was a fun exercise. So if you would like more brain stumpers, please help us. So this is just a fraction of the photographs that do not have captions or any sort of identifying material. And I was not born and raised here, so I don't know this information. I can't identify people just like that. So I need help. If you would like to help, you can do so from your home. You can go to our website and look through the photos, and there's a section on there on each photo that says give feedback or provide feedback or something like that. And you can say like, oh, it might say woman in grocery store or something. And so you can say, I know that woman was my neighbor from such and such, and this is her name. And you can provide that feedback, and then I will know. So you can do it at home on your own time through the internet. Or you can volunteer at the Monroe County History Center. So on our website is a volunteer interest form that you can fill out on our website, or you can come in and fill out a physical form if you're more comfortable with that. And we will contact you when we are ready to have a group of photos identified, because there's just hundreds of photographs that have minimal captions, like the bowling photo that had Carl and Mark, and you're just like, well, okay. But we don't know dates. Some of them are going to require, that do have dates, will require research into microfilm and other materials into finding of what's the article that they belong to, why are we taking this photo, what is happening that is newsworthy. So please let us know if you are interested. I have cards with my email if you would like to come and collect a card. And this is Rod, who has been instrumental. This is Rod Spa, everybody, this picture. And he is a former HT editor who now volunteers with the History Center, and he has been instrumental in helping us get the archive materials from the HT to the History Center. So we really owe a debt of gratitude to Rod. And him helping us to preserve all this material. But we can't do it alone. I do know that there are a bunch of HT staff, former staffers, current staffers here today. So if you would, I'd just like to say thank you. If you want to raise your hand, I think we can all like give you a shout out and a clap. Thank you. Thank you guys. And so just let me know if anybody's interested. This fall, during our newspapers exhibit, we're going to be having monthly, did we decide? Monthly days where we are going to have like Identify the Photo Day. And so you can come in, we'll have coffee and donuts. And so we will be providing refreshments for you to sit here and get stumped. And so you can come around, look at the photos, and see if you identify anyone, see if you know anyone. We will have one day that's dedicated specifically to sports, because there's a lot of those. And so that will just be one whole day dedicated solely to sports. But then everything else will be like these other photos of just general area history that we just don't know the full information for. So anyway, let me know if you need anything, have any other follow-up questions, would like to participate. I'd be happy to show you how to. So thank you all very much.